scholars and professionals from more than 10 countries participate in the 5th Tzu Chi Forum. Tainan City's government's Labor Affairs Bureau brings volunteers to help a solitary senior renovate her house. Welcome to the Headlines. I'm Simon Gan. Thank you for joining us. Tzu Chi Foundation held its 5th Tzu Chi Forum at the Xingdian Jingsi Hall with the theme Disaster Risk Reduction and Sustainable Development. The forum was attended by scholars and professionals from more than 10 countries.
20 years ago, the 9/21 earthquake caused tremendous devastation, shocking the world. In its aftermath, the governments and civil organizations' disaster relief efforts have improved tremendously.
The enterprises, NGO, and government should be resilient in their structure and face problems. Tzu Chi is a role model for NGOs.
That I have really enjoyed and benefited greatly from the collaboration with the Tzu Chi Foundation at the United Nations, working together with us and many others to address the issues of climate change.
International professionals and scholars gathered to hold the press conference to announce the opening of the 5th Tzu Chi Forum.
We are very happy to welcome these disaster reduction, disaster prevention professionals from 14 countries, including Taiwan.
The occurrence of disasters is against our awareness of disasters. Therefore, through this forum and seminar, we hope to raise everyone's awareness of disasters.
The Dharma Masters from the Jingsi Abode have also brought the best wishes of Dharma Master Zheng Yan.
On behalf of my teacher, Dharma Master Chen Yuan, we need to awaken to the lessons that disaster bring us. I hope everyone can reduce their desire, be vigilant and sincerely pious every day.
If there are more evil people in the world, the negative karma they accumulate will form turbulence and cause disasters in the world. On the other hand, if we garner people's kind thoughts, we can form strengths of the kindness which can ward off natural disasters.
The two-day forum allows professionals to exchange their experiences on disaster prevention. As they learn from each other, they are also preparing for future natural disasters.
In Taiwan, whenever natural disasters or man-made accidents take place, Tzu Chi volunteers are always the first ones to arrive on the scene. With more than 50 years of experience in disaster relief work, Tzu Chi has developed clear principles for disaster relief efforts. Here's our report.
With climate change, the frequency of disasters has increased. In the immediate aftermath of disasters, Tzu Chi Foundation has carried out disaster relief work. Many scientific inventions have also been developed.
Every 8 volunteers can build 2 houses in 2 days or even just 1 day. We can take it apart even faster in just 1 day. It can be reused in many other ways.
2 layers. This is canvas and corrugated board. It forms 3 layers of air. This way, the heat insulation will be very good.
The Jingsi floating bed was invented because of an incident in Pakistan. A newborn baby girl in towel was sleeping on the ground. Bed became one of Tzu Chi's aid supplies. For many years, its design kept improving to meet the needs of the affected residents.
The design of the folding beds takes into consideration of the needs of the affected residents. Therefore, it is convenient. Just pull it open and it becomes a bed.
Accumulation of disaster relief experience allows Tzu Chi to understand the needs of the affected residents. For more than 50 years, there have been 5 major changes in Tzu Chi's disaster relief modes. With climate change, natural disasters are taking place more frequently. Besides carrying out disaster relief work, Tzu Chi also emphasizes respect to the nature, love for all living beings, and mutual help, hoping to pursue a sustainable development for the earth.
The 5th Tzu Chi Forum was recently held with experts, scholars, and NGO representatives from 10 different countries in attendance.
In 2018, disaster caused by climate change hit Japan one after another, bringing great damage to the land and residential houses. Outside the emergency shelter, Japanese Tzu Chi volunteers set up tents and prepare hot meals to comfort the affected residents.
We Japanese never forget the very quick and generous support provided by Taiwanese people, and especially by Tzu Chi Foundation.
As for disaster prevention warnings, Japan has developed two types of instruments that can detect P waves and S waves. But it is more important to raise people's disaster awareness.
Government, they are releasing booklet to every household, also in English and other languages, and how to prepare and how to protect yourself.
The campfire in California burned from 2018 to 2019, taking the lives of nearly 100 people. It has become the most destructive wildfire in history.
Someone who's lost their home or their community, they've lost complete control of that world. And as we try to seek to serve people in an individual way that puts recovery in their hands, we seek them out first and we provide the most care we can to them right away.
Volunteers take to the streets to inspire the residents' compassion. Tzu Chi volunteers from all around the world transcend religions and ethnicity to provide disaster relief and aid.
Not giving material, but giving you compassion, your inspiration, and your love. So the recipient will appreciate that giving becomes healing because you give what they want, not only material, but something they need inside.
Disaster prevention and mitigation is an urgent task, with humanitarian assistance healing the soul. All participants learn from each other as the forum, allowing love to extend infinitely.
In Tainan district, Tainan, there is a solitary senior who is paralyzed and suffers from Parkinson's disease. Upon learning of the situation, the Labor Affairs Bureau of Tainan City Government brought volunteers to help renovate her place. Let's take a look.
The roof of this ancestral home in Tainan has collapsed. Its restaurant is extremely dirty, and the bricks behind the walls are exposed. A solitary senior lives in this dilapidated house, and the volunteers have renovated the place.
We give the place a total makeover. In the beginning, it was in terrible shape.
After renovation, the grandma's house looks brand new, with bright paints outside and new pillars and supporting steels on the roof. 88-year-old Grandma Ye, who is paralyzed, also suffers from Parkinson's disease. Fortunately, the Labor Affairs Bureau has summoned professional volunteers to help renovate her house.
Our team is quite all-rounded. We've got carpenters, electricians, masons, and painters. We have mobilized 80 volunteers.
The volunteers spent 4 Sundays to complete the renovation. Despite the quick work, they've done a thorough job. These volunteers only hope that the solitary senior can live more safely and comfortably.
In Liaoning, China, a woman has to raise her 4 daughters alone after her husband passed away 2 years ago. Tzu Chi volunteers have been caring for them ever since, providing them with financial assistance.
In 2016, her husband passed away due to illness. He owed a lot of debts because of his illness, and 5 family members were left behind. His second, third, and youngest daughters are students.
They not only care for me through phone calls, but also come personally to visit me. I feel very warm.
Volunteers lent a helping hand in her most difficult time. Huang Shufan has changed her mood to welcome a new life.
When we came before, the lights in the kitchen were flashing. When the rain stopped, we put a tarp on the roof and repaired it. As you can see roof tiles over there. Since we started to care for Huang Shufan, I have brought the volunteers to care for her and accompany her. After we gave her monetary aid in the first month, we found there were 10 bamboo coin banks, which were saved by the volunteers when we returned.
After witnessing suffering, the volunteers' compassion has been inspired as they hope to help more people in need.
On September 31st, 1999, Taiwan was hit by a 7.3 magnitude earthquake. A major disaster 20 years ago awakened to lessons from Mother Nature. Let's take a look.
In 1999, a major earthquake hit Taiwan, killing 2,415 people, injuring 11,305, and displacing over 100,000.
长一空，心都拢总是空空。讲什么话都无法度表达。
Soldiers, policemen, firefighters, and rescuers quickly mobilized to save lives. Relief supplies poured in from across Taiwan. Everyone's thoughts were with the victims and their families.
那个热汤可以的话，再来100份好不好？
第一口热水就是慈济的汤，那个面非常的好吃。
To repay Tzu Chi's help in her time of need, Liu Yizhen became a volunteer for Tzu Chi. In the wake of the earthquake, nearly 1,000 rescuers flew in from 22 countries to lend Taiwan a helping hand. Among them was Turkey, which had just been devastated by a 7.4 magnitude earthquake 1 month earlier. Before the quake struck Taiwan, Tzu Chi volunteers were still raising funds for the quake survivors in Turkey. Many Tzu Chi volunteers serving in the disaster areas were also victims who had lost their homes to the earthquake.
大楼要拆了，我跟那个军人啊，我说可以陪我回去拿东西吗？
我跟他讲，一直说我的衣服在慈济衣服在里头，我只要我的慈济衣服。
他说师姐，啊你就只要这一套衣服吗？我说对。
During emergency relief, there were hundreds of volunteers in Tzu Chi uniform, serving in the disaster areas every day, providing comfort to those affected. As Master Zheng Yan often says, when major disasters occur, man should awaken to the lessons from Mother Nature.
过去的一个伤痛跟牺牲其实是有意义的，就好像我在东市林场里面看到的那样一个一个的尸袋，一个一个变形的尸体，它要告诉我们什么事情？国土为脆啊！
随着时间也随着这个气候暖化，地壳的能量其实在不断的累积，所以也观测到地震的这个次数还是一样大地震，就是规模7以上，包括8。那其实它的这个次数有在增加。
房子什么东西我都几乎是横列都没有拿出来了。唯一能给我留着当纪念的是这一张，我永远都会记得这个。如果说今天没有慈济帮我的忙，我可能那时候那一段日子我一家4口不知道去住哪里。
Apart from temporary houses, Tzu Chi also helped to rebuild schools damaged by the quake. After the schools were rebuilt and reopened, tens of thousands of children were able to go back to school.
有慈济的帮忙，学校就变成了非常的漂亮，非常开心。就是我们的学校后来有重建完成。
Tsai Yirong was a student of Tucheng Elementary School when the quake hit. 20 years later, she's become a teacher at her alma mater.
你的这张桌子说不定老师曾经用过，你走过的路其实老师也都走过。教导孩子要懂得感恩，然后要懂得回馈。
我一直走，台湾无以为宝啊，以善以爱为宝。希望让更多人启发爱心，有爱心叫做福。我们要永远多造福。都祝福啊
！The 9/21 earthquake has had a great impact on Tzu Chi's disaster relief efforts, influencing it to offer more global humanitarian assistance. 9/21 was a severe test, with more than 2,000 casualties and 50,000 houses destroyed. Within 2 hours of the disaster, Tzu Chi set up more than 30 disaster relief contact centers to manage the crisis.
When houses collapse and many people are hungry in the disaster, who cares for them?
瓦斯桶就在这里。You can see the gas tank over there, and then the pot here, which is so low to the ground, which is quite difficult.
On this side of the road, these tents are set up to keep away the sun and help those who are cooking. After the earthquake, Tzu Chi set up 30 large-scale cooking spots in the disaster area. Within a week, it supplied 1.3 million hot meals. The youngest township chief in Taiwan, Chen Jiheng, is only 34 years old. At the time of the 9/21 earthquake, he was just a middle school student.
I forgot how many days it took, but it was quite soon when Tzu Chi volunteers came into town to cook vegetarian food to feed the victims.
Unable to bear the suffering of victims, volunteers felt exhausted but continued to grit their teeth. Moreover, the environment in the disaster area is bad, and personal safety is often forgotten about.
恁知影，迄遐尼只大桶吼，安尼大光来光去吼，去触着，或者是啃着，迄当阵不堪设想。
Visiting the disaster-stricken areas, everywhere is chaos as Master Zheng Yan tours with her disciples, and inspiration arises in her.
Master Zheng Yan hopes to improve the hot food supplies in the disaster area and other daily life needs. Master Zheng Yan hopes we can do more systematic planning.
Eating and keeping warm is the basis of personal safety. In a moment of panic, hopefully some can be thoughtful and think of others. It was Tzu Chi who registered every household and asked what they needed, like blankets. Tzu Chi was later able to do a distribution that morning. I was surprised at how fast they worked.
Compassion is unchanged. We support all of the survivors, regardless of their religion, race, color, or language. Our compassion for our fellow people never changes.
On the day of the 9/21 earthquake, Tzu Chi immediately established the General Command Center for Disaster Relief in Hualien. At 3 o'clock in the morning, more than 30 contact centers have been established in Taiwan. Two days after the disaster, Master Zheng Yan arrived at the Taichung branch. The first rain after the disaster occurred while she was here. Staying in central Taiwan for nearly a month, Master Zheng Yan didn't simply travel to investigate the disaster area, but spent lots of time planning how Tzu Chi could conduct disaster relief.
身外已经受损了，我不希望他心里还在受伤。
一个人失去家里的时候，那个恐惧是
The fear a person experiences when losing a home is indescribable. So we feel for them, and Tzu Chi volunteers are like bodhisattvas we can see when everyone is having trouble. What is their next reaction? Where are they at this point in life? How do they get over this loss of home to get a feeling of peace of mind?
Peace of mind and body after the 9/21 quake had a huge impact on Tzu Chi's global aid model.
其实慈济的整个
In fact, Tzu Chi's entire humanitarian assistance and disaster relief model has 6 stages: prevention, mitigation, and preparations. After the disaster, rescue work, midterm support, and long-term rehabilitation.
From emergency response to disasters to prevention work, Tzu Chi has been actively involved in this work for 20 years as we take a look back.
History allows us to look back on disasters, and we need to look forward to awaken everyone. Our devotion to nature should awaken everyone's future plans.
From then on, you can see the compassion and altruism.
Disasters are painful, but they also make people grow and also awaken mutual help and love during this period of disaster.
Master of Photography Ran Yizhong took 3 years to record the process of the construction of the Tzu Chi Hope project after the 9/21 earthquake. At the end of the program, we'll bring everyone to Yilan and commemorate the 9/21 quake through the exhibition. We'll leave you with this. Goodbye.